Hey guys, it's Raul again, and today I'll be sharing with you some of my adult mystery thriller horror books that I have not read yet. So I figured I would highlight some of the books that have been on my shelf the longest, especially some of the kind of adult horror mystery thriller type books, because I know I mentioned a lot of like the YA stuff that I pick up on a regular basis. Some of these books, or at least a lot of these books I've picked up, I don't think I've really mentioned in like any videos, any haul videos or tag videos or anything like that. So I kind of wanted to highlight some of the books that have been on my shelf the longest that fit this genre to hopefully kind of motivate myself to read some of these books probably sooner than later. If you guys have read any of these books, I'd love to hear comments and everything, because that, I love doing these kinds of videos because it motivates me to pick up some books sooner than others. When I'm hearing kind of opinions of people, loving certain books or really hating certain books, I really enjoy that. So the first book on this list of books that I have not read yet, I have Fufumi Once by Harlan Coben. I've read a couple of books by Harlan Coben before, and I really enjoy him as a writer. And I think this is the only Harlan Coben book that I own that I have not read of his yet. I don't own a lot of Harlan Coben books, but again, I really enjoy his stuff. This one, I think, follows a husband who is pretending to be dead. I think the husband passed away at one point. The mother is left behind with the daughter, and she one day sees the husband, who is supposed to be dead, on like the baby monitor or some kind of security camera. So she starts to question what she's seeing, if the husband is really dead or not, if she's just kind of imagining things. So yeah, really excited about this one. And the next one on this list of books that I have not read yet, I have a very popular one, and one that I know a lot of people enjoy, and that is Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. This, I believe they just did a Netflix movie or TV series or something like that people are absolutely loving. I have not read Rebecca yet. I picked this book up a few years ago, or actually I think it's like 4 or 5 years ago at this point, for my birthday one year. But I do not like this version for some reason. I picked up the mass market paperback, which I don't mind mass market paperbacks at all, but this one I don't know what was wrong with. I mean, the font is very, very tiny, and I don't know if there was something just wrong with the printing, but it's very thick lettering, so it's kind of hard to read and very uncomfortable for my eyes. So even though I've been wanting to pick up this book for the longest time, I cannot read this version. I'll probably just end up listening to it on audiobook, but yeah, not going to read this version. We'll most likely end up listening to the audiobook instead. Now this next pile of books they're all from the same author. The first book that I have on here is It by Stephen King. I have yet to read it, but I'm slowly kind of starting to get accustomed to Stephen King's writing. I recently finished Salem's Lot by Stephen King and absolutely loved that one, and I've read a couple of his other ones. I've read Carrie and The Shining and Pet Sematary, and I've really enjoyed those, so he's growing on me now. So I think at this point, it's finally time to pick up It. This is another one that I've had on my shelves for a few years now, but this is one that I have not picked up because it is super intimidating. This thing is like 1,400 pages. Yes, it's very long. I've at this point watched both of the movies, so I'm at least somewhat familiar with the characters and the plot line and some of the stuff that's going on, even though I know the book is going to be very different from the movies. But at least I'll kind of have some kind of visual representation to kind of picture while I'm reading this book eventually. And again, this is one that I now want to pick up sooner than later, just because I've been slowly getting used to Stephen King's writing and actually been really enjoying it. And another one by Stephen King is The Talisman. This book was gifted to me in like a bag of books that someone gave me one time. I have no idea what this book is about, honestly. I don't know if I've ever heard of this book or anybody talk about this book. I honestly don't even know if I want to read it. But if you guys have read it and have enjoyed it, let me know. And I'll probably end up, picking it up at some point. But this one's been on my shelf randomly. I didn't know if I wanted to unhaul it or not, but I figured I would include it in this video just in case somebody tells me this book is amazing and I need to read it. And then also by Stephen King, I have Dreamcatcher. This one I have watched the movie again, and I really enjoy the concept, this whole kind of alien invasion, body snatcher type plot line. So this is one that I'm definitely curious to read. Another one that was gifted to me, I think in the same bag of books that the last one was. But again, now that I'm kind of getting used to Stephen King's writing and really enjoying it, this is one that I at some point hope to get to. And then the next pile of books that I have are all by Dean Koontz. The first one that I have on here is The Key to Midnight. This is one that I picked up at a thrift store, I think it was, or at a flea market, and this was at the time where I just wanted to read everything Dean Koontz. So anytime I would see a book by Dean Koontz that I hadn't read, I would just pick it up and keep it on my shelves. And this is, I honestly have no idea what this is about. I'm doing a terrible job at the synopsis and everything. But I kind of I like going in somewhat blindly to Dean Koontz's books. So this one I'm kind of keeping secret right now until I eventually end up picking it up. So we'll see how this one goes. And then I also have The Bad Place on here. This one I think is about a boy who has some kind of mental disability. He's developmentally disabled or something, and I believe he can see, or he thinks that he sees a man that's kind of stalking him. I'm not really sure. I remember reading the synopsis to this book a long time ago, and I vaguely remember kind of those details. I just remember that it follows kind of a main character that has a developmental disability. So we'll see how this one goes eventually when I pick it up, but this is another one that's been on my shelf unread for a few years now. And then by Dean Koontz, I also have Winter Moon. This I think this is the one that's about aliens. I know that there was one, I watched the video on books by Dean Koontz, or at least his best novels, and this was on that list that somebody made. But again, this is one I think that follows like a small town and an alien invasion. I really end up loving books that follow these small towns and these kind of invasions that are happening, by some kind of mythical creature or kind of spirit or whatever it may be. I love reading those kinds of books, especially when the characters in the towns are really in-depth and really detailed, and you get to really know the residents of this town and then all of the crazy things that start happening to them. So this is one that I will hopefully read sooner than later, one that I feel will really, really enjoy. And then the last book I have on this list is another Dean Koontz, and that is Dragon Tears. This is another one that I think I remember hearing the synopsis a while ago, but I have at this point forgotten completely what this book is even about. And again, a good thing for me, because again, I like to go into these fairly blindly. But yeah, I mean, this one came out a while ago. I tend to really enjoy kind of the like 80s, 90s adult horror, thriller, suspense novels, because I feel like that genre, that time period, a lot of really good books came out at around that time period. So yeah, I'm really excited for this one. Hopefully, again, I mean, I'm saying this with all these books, I hope to get to these very soon, but this is why I make these videos, is to kind of motivate myself to remember that I even have these so that I can pick them up. So yeah, guys, that is it for some of the adult horror, mystery, thriller books that have been on my shelf the longest and I have not read yet. Comment down below, again, let me know if you guys have read any of these and what your thoughts are. I would absolutely love to know. Now, before you go, don't forget to like and subscribe. I post videos every Tuesday and Friday. Thank you guys all again for watching, and I will see you all next time.